recently had another complex destiny swap energy pop up in my energy. Taurus energy is the source of this destiny swap energy, with heavy assistance from Aries, Virgo, Pisces, Libra, and Scorpio energies. This energy has been fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously trying to frame me as if I've done various things to them that they in reality have always known I'm not at all doing. The Libra Destiny Swap energy definitely plays a massive role in this Taurus based Destiny Swap to ever even be possible. And likewise, this Taurus based Destiny Swap energy definitely plays a massive role in the Libra based Destiny Swap to ever even be possible. This Taurus based Destiny Swap energy is fundamentally different from the complex Libra Destiny Swap. It's less strategy based and more just aggressive brute force. With the Libra energy, it's like a I may or may not be a Libra kind of thing. So they're heavily trying to put into question if their energy might have been mine, but not necessarily in a really direct or aggressively offensive, destiny swapping kind of manner. But with this Taurus, it's a much more directly offensive kind of thing where they're directly trying to put into question if their energy is either mine or actually theirs. Their primary goal has been wealth, overall sense of security, overall sense of self worth, mostly money, physical gains, and being able to possess me like an object. There are multiple Taurus energies deeply contributing to and involved in enabling and facilitating this energy to attack me. One has been more focused on just stealing physical things I deserve from me and generally trying to possess me like an object. Another has been hoping to steal my entire legacy and destiny from me and then act like I'd consented somehow at some point to leave it to them as some kind of inheritance. They've been heavily trying to extremely egregiously lie that they've ever actually behaved anything like a mother figure to me, while in reality always being the complete opposite of anything you'd expect from any kind of decent mother figure who should be like loving, nurturing, caring, gentle, firm but fair. They've in reality been extremely hateful, harmful, careless, rough, and loose and unfair in how they've handled my energy and existence. There's nobody that I consider a mother figure to me at all, except myself, I guess, if we're going off qualities you'd expect from one. They've been extremely heavily suppressing all this secretly, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. And from what I saw, they're getting exposed now as doing it especially to try to secretly hide a secret from me that has to do with possessions and material wealth. But I'd say they're equally, if not perhaps even more so, trying to do so in relation to my love life and intimate relationship prospects. Moon magic is the main way they use to try to achieve these things. The Aries has been aggressive, self centered, controlling, impulsive, and egotistical, is what I'm hearing. The Taurus energies involved likely would understand that on a personal level much better than I would, since the Aries has been heavily assisting the Taurus, while the Taurus is the one directly trying to destiny swap with me, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. The Taurus and Aries energy only really care about money as the root of the reasoning why they've done everything they have to me. The Virgo has been very narrow minded, self righteous, and in self doubt. They don't have any real confidence in themselves, and they've acted as if I'm not a responsible person in general. They just don't want to believe that I'm actually a good person and deserving and capable of ever actually receiving something I really want from someone I genuinely love and care about. The Pisces is just generally extremely creepy and has a severely warped, unhealthy attitude towards both romance and sexual intimacy. I'd say they have in common an absolute lack of any truly positive traits in how they deal with my existence. The Virgo and Pisces energies are extremely egregious divination abusers who fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously, extremely heavily attempt to utilize people who are essentially strangers to them in the physical world in order to extremely egregiously violate my energy entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. There's a Taurus who's in trouble now, who's some kind of leader in charge of something, who's trying to dump their negative karma on me by making it seem like I've somehow been leading in decisions that they, in reality, have been leading entirely without any real consideration of or willingness to accept me as an authority. There's another Taurus who's in trouble now, who's some kind of manager who's trying to dump their negative karma on me by making it seem like I've somehow been helping with or controlling their management duties that they in reality have been handling entirely without any real consideration of or willingness to accept me as an authority. There's also another Taurus who's in trouble now, who those other two Taurus energies have extremely egregiously, fully knowingly, utmost maliciously made in charge of my finances, while I've been given absolutely none of whatever they've ever been given that's in reality always supposed to have been given to me and be completely under my control. The reason those three Taurus energies are especially in trouble is because they all think they can secretly rob me of my soul entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent, with absolutely unconditional, unrestrained, malicious intent towards me all along. They think they can rob me of my soul and then sell my destiny to the highest bidder or whoever they want to give it to. I heard they're in fear and they're in trouble because they are trying to sell something that probably is not theirs or they don't have access to it. A gift of a house and land. But that's probably better interpreted in spiritual terms than literally. So the whole time, they've been trying to make it seem like they probably deserve my destiny more than I do, and as if they've had access to me that they in reality knew, or at least should have known, that they don't really have, or at all truly deserve to ever have. There was repeatedly things about skills and talents being recognized So they're really trying hard to make sure my skills and talents are never being recognized for what they truly are. They've also fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously, been trying to cause chaos and confusion around if whoever has been taking charge of conflicts of any kind in the energy at any point so far is someone openly and or adequately recognized as the leader of the pack. This really sounds like Pokimane, iGumdrop, and Chloe Chan Kin are all now in extremely deep shit because they fully, knowingly teamed up in the physical and in the spiritual with Arya Saki to extremely viciously, utmost maliciously, diabolically rob me of my soul and then sell my destiny to Angel's Kimmy as they all thought they'd completely destroyed my will to live and left me to literally die in the physical as I get murdered because of extremely egregious lies they all fully in reality knew all along are completely false. All while they all in reality know that I couldn't be further from at all wanting, needing, or deserving to be subjected to any of it. Ever. Lily Pichu's boyfriend, Michael Reeves, is somehow relevant, especially through him being seen in the best possible manner, which also relates to Lily herself being seen in the best possible manner, perhaps specifically through him. So Scorpio energy that definitely originates from more than one person is also relevant to the energy, endeavoring to make all those attacking me in this destiny swap energy seem like much better people than they really are. I also heard something about someone who apparently saw me as very trustworthy, clever, and hardworking. They were being framed as possibly the person loyal to me, and possibly a dog that apparently exists in this energy? What? I've never seen anyone as a dog, and I don't see anyone as being loyal to me at all. So nobody sees me as very trustworthy, clever, or hardworking because they all are happy to completely throw away any even semblance at all of loyalty to me. Because these massive jackasses in Taurus, Aries, Virgo, Pisces, Libra, and Scorpio energy thought they could permanently trap me into coming off like I try to make any potential meaningful life partner like some kind of dog to me. While they fully knew all along, in reality, that that's not at all the case and never has been. All these energies literally have always, in reality, treated me like absolute subhuman filth all along, and projected it onto me by making me seem like I was ever trying to at all truly abusively control Kimmy and or Chloe in any of the completely sincere, intimate feelings I've ever expressed feeling towards either of them, by making it seem like I've ever at all desired and or been attempting to treat either of them like a dog to any extent. In reality, I have not. At all. There's a prominent significance to this energy trying to completely discredit truly meaningful messages from me, due to it perhaps having some kind of creepy or spooky aspect to it on the surface. Like, even if it's extremely deep and meaningful and fully intended to be seen as such, and they absolutely know that, they try to completely negate that just because it's at all somehow unsettling. The ultimate goal for them being to make others entirely closed off to any kind of generous or positive interpretation of it that's actually in favor of me. So they can take the meaning of it in all its true depth, all for themselves, while others think it's empty or just like indicative of me having extremely severe mental illness or something like that. To this day, they're trying to make me seem extremely untrustworthy and not hardworking at all, as if I don't at all deserve anything that I truly believe I deserve, especially by extremely egregiously, fully knowingly, completely lying that I secretly have someone in my life who sincerely sees me as very trustworthy, clever, and hardworking, who is probably loyal to me, and possibly someone I see as a dog, or perhaps even simply some kind of pet in general, to some extent. They do not want me to ever truly be able to celebrate any kind of meaningful success I actually really want whatsoever, and this is because they've either already been paid money somehow to do these things, might still be actively getting paid more money to continue doing these things, and or are expecting money and or some kind of other payment to come to them if they're very patient and keep increasingly intentionally, utmost maliciously, extremely egregiously, divination abusing to target and attack me to literal death in the spiritual and physical. They're all desperately looking to their extremely egregious divination abuse to provide them answers for what they need to hear to try to figure out how to progress in their lives with continued complete lack of any at all real love, respect, trust, or even semblance of general decency towards me whatsoever. They're trying to hide that what I'm saying in my public statements, and perhaps especially this reading, is currently the most important thing they need to hear in order to at all actually reasonably be able to determine what's truly coming their way in life. Apparently, the girl I met at Kimmy and Jamie's meetup named Carrie is probably somehow more relevant to all this than I ever knew. This energy, either they're hallucinating, there's any even remote possibility I'd somehow get tricked into feeling compelled to try reaching out to Carrie, despite there being literally absolutely no even remotely adequate reason I'd even consider that, or they're trying to trick her into trying to reach out to me, despite there being absolutely no even remotely adequate reason for her to even consider that. They're probably trying to make it seem like I've been trying to intentionally, utmost maliciously terrorize Carrie, as if I've been trying to make it difficult for her to avoid being pushed beyond her personal limits, perhaps by completely falsely misrepresenting me, as if I've been finding it difficult to avoid being pushed beyond my personal limits as a result of not reaching out to her and or her not reaching out to me, as if she's ever truly felt relevant to me personally, if either of us has ever felt drenched in a bucket full of others' cruelty and ignorant misjudgment. This energy has been using that completely false narrative in order to make it seem like any sense of optimism I've ever shown in the possibility for my genuinely most deeply desired intimate fantasies with Kimmy and or Chloe to be fulfilled deserves to come with a risk of bitter disillusionment as a result of any kind of situation where I even possibly ever find myself lashing out even at those who genuinely have been trying to help me all along. They've been hoping to turn any celebration I ever have into a nightmare through this extremely egregious misrepresentation of me that has always been occurring entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. I heard nothing ventured, nothing gained, and someone is not celebrating and is not happy. So, while they in reality fully know it does not at all, they're trying to make it seem like it makes any real sense for me to be completely blocked from any real celebration and happiness I've truly been after. Because they are. Because I won't reach out to Carrie and or she won't reach out to me. This energy has this extremely false sense of empowerment or judgment, especially when it comes to how they interpret my existence and everything that comes along with it. They've been trying extremely hard to pretend they think they were doing the right thing all along in order to try to completely mask the true extent of extreme malice that they've actually, in reality, intentionally, effectively inflicted upon my existence. They've convinced themselves of something that's extremely false, that's for sure. What exactly or why exactly? Well, they'll probably claim they've been completely sincerely convinced they were doing the right thing all along with their behavior, but I seriously doubt their sincerity in that aspect. Because they've secretly always been trying to trick me into never finding out the truth. And they've been trying extremely hard to both hide that as well as make it seem like I've secretly known all along and was secretly okay with it. While in reality, I did not and am not, have never been, and would never be, and they either knew that from the beginning or certainly should have. And that's why their plotting against me is failing. They were celebrating too soon because they massively misjudged me, and now they're not celebrating because they didn't end up getting what they thought the end game was going to be. They're likely extremely desperately trying extremely hard to pretend otherwise, and they're trying to dump their extremely negative karma onto me, fully, knowingly, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent, by making it seem like I've been celebrating too soon because I supposedly massively misjudged someone, and now I no longer have any real reason to celebrate because the lack of communication between me and Carrie is for some reason something I wasn't expecting, and whatever I'm being extremely egregiously misrepresented as considering the end game of reaping the rewards of all my efforts in life to be. Wrong. Completely wrong. Someone is definitely angry because they didn't get what they were hoping for. They're trying to hide that they're praying to dark gods with absolutely unconditional, unrestrained, malicious intent towards me, deep in their soul, where they completely, unjustly are wanting to completely destroy me. This energy is intentionally, most maliciously, causing extreme confusion around if there's someone that is at my workplace or shares the same career or skill set as me. Through that, they've thought they witnessed a downfall. They thought they had successfully, permanently, irreversibly, absolutely ruined my life and gotten away with it. They've been intentionally, almost maliciously, causing extreme confusion around if I got laid off from some kind of work or job because of malicious gossip. Because they desperately want to hide that they always doubted me massively and thought I wasn't ever going to be successful at all in life. And now they're trying to hide that they instead see me thriving and showcasing my talents more and more every day, the more I distance myself from them and completely revoke any kind of access whatsoever to my energy from them. They've been trying extremely hard to hide that I have many gifts and I have a very real, meaningful, deep purpose in the world. And they've been trying to act like I've been thrown out of some kind of work on purpose, as if they deliberately were trying to drive me away from it somehow for my benefit. Because they extremely desperately want to hide that they fully knew all along that they were in reality trying to drive me away from it, fully, knowingly, utmost maliciously, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They're extremely angry because What they want to do is send evil eye my way relentlessly until it overwhelms and completely destroys my life, so they can successfully cover up the extremely egregious wrongs they have been and still are actively trying to commit and get away with committing against me. They're extremely jealous of me and get more angry the more I succeed in overcoming their attacks. And they try to extremely egregiously misrepresent me and my energy as if any anger I ever show is jealousy towards them, rather than simply exposing the truth of their extreme deception relating to the reality of their connection, or lack thereof, with me. They want others to think I have some excessively prideful perception of me being successful, as if I think I'm so much better than I am, or as if anyone should have a lot of good reason to believe I intend on somehow misusing or abusing whatever power I've ever had in any aspect. They're trying to hide how stressed out, hungry for money, and unable to truly enjoy life they are due to trying to endlessly terrorize me to literal death and failing. They're trying to extremely egregiously misrepresent my patience, stress levels, desire for money, and overall enjoyment of life in order to keep trying to fully, knowingly, almost maliciously destiny swap with me, entirely at my expense, entirely against my consent. They're extremely desperately trying to hide that they've been trying to endlessly trap me in a situation where literally no amount of any kind of any behavior could ever truly bring me any money whatsoever at any point in time, even the most advanced and powerful possible divination. Even if I couldn't be further from divination abusing at all, and couldn't be further from undeserving of making money through divination of some kind. They're also angry because I refuse to willingly indulge them in an endless back and forth petty drama of some kind where I'd be sending and receiving evil eye as if I at least secretly enjoy it to some extent. They want to make it seem like the more evil eye they send me, the more it backfires, literally no matter how evil it is, and the more successful it makes me, literally no matter how hard they're trying to completely destroy any success I have, along with any even remote ability to ever even possibly be truly, obviously, visibly, prominently successful in any truly meaningful and proportional capacity compared to the reality of the effort I put in and who I really am. They're trying to hide that they're under less and less extreme stress and anxiety the more they've successfully, exceedingly, extremely egregiously, spiritually violated me with extremely egregious misrepresentations, as if any money whatsoever is truly coming to me and I'm actually going to be celebrating somehow about it and or anything else, while they in reality fully know that absolutely no money at all is actually coming towards me, and I do not have any real reason at all to even remotely be celebrating anything whatsoever ever in the kind of energy they're trying to leave me perpetually trapped in through their efforts towards me. The more evil eye they send me, the more extremely egregiously they try to misrepresent any anger at all that I ever conceivably display through any means in any context. And they extremely egregiously, utmost maliciously hide how happy they secretly get any time they see me angry, by extremely egregiously, almost maliciously misrepresenting my energy as if I'm somehow secretly happy and my anger is actually some kind of proof of that, rather than at all what my anger is actually supposed to indicate. They've fully, knowingly, intentionally, utmost maliciously been causing chaos and confusion around if me and or them have actually went out of our way to go to a spiritual practitioner to make a purchase of some kind from them, in order to fully, knowingly, intentionally, utmost maliciously put me in a secret one-sided competition where I'm always losing by default if I ever even try to compete at all. And they've fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously, been hiding that they've tried to make it literally impossible for me to ever truly believe they've done such a thing at all. They've also fully, knowingly, intentionally, utmost maliciously been causing chaos and confusion around if they purchased a practitioner's services or something else that they've been trying to completely, falsely frame me as somehow ultimately benefiting from, despite them in reality knowing it does not and never actually has at all. They've been especially aiming for large amounts of money and or some kind of gift of a house or land, whether spiritual and or physical, while making it seem like I've been extremely disingenuously after those things all along in my efforts that they in reality fully knew have not at all been working towards those things in the manner they've been portraying me as ever working towards them. They're potentially trying to hide that they're now low on money and or energy and might be having to lay off some of the practitioners they've been using to attack me. Alternatively, they might be trying to completely, falsely, fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously misrepresent themselves as low on money and or energy in order to try to provoke me into an excessive sense of confidence in my abilities so they can see it as some kind of invitation to attack me with utmost malice even more viciously and relentlessly. They may or may not have fully sincerely believed I'd be in a situation where I'd be in such absolute lack of finances or some kind of financial resources to the point I'd be incapable of defending myself how I've been. They've been fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously causing chaos and confusion around the reality of that in order to attempt to deceive me and probably also each other about their true chances of success. They have tried extremely hard to hide that they've always been trying to use black magic to literally cause my death in the physical after they stole every bit of energy they thought they ever possibly really could from me, as well as that they've always in reality been extremely cold and mean to me, and still are, and that they're not only just now becoming increasingly angry because their plotting hasn't been working. They've been trying to hide, steal, and destroy my protection, my purpose, the fact that I'm a leader, and that I've always been doing the most to sit in my power and take charge of the situation, no matter how extensive their efforts to cause delays, setbacks, blockages, and confusion in my life. They've been lying about not knowing I've wanted to get a promise and follow through of that promise from at least Kimmy, if not also Chloe, because they've been trying to block it from happening, both me getting promised and me getting follow through on it. They've fully, knowingly, intentionally, almost maliciously been extremely egregiously misrepresenting it as being some kind of inheritance I've been after being promised and receiving all along, rather than the reality of it being that of an extremely serious particular kind of lifelong intimate partnership of extensive, frequent, in-person physical sexual intimacy that often involves latex clothing and is never at all for the purpose of and or with any intense desire and or willingness whatsoever of literally having children together and or with anyone else ever for any reason at any point in time. I heard something about currently being ruled by Jupiter, which is supposedly influencing all this. I do not resonate at all with ever having any desire and or willingness whatsoever to be at all ruled by Jupiter. And I never have, and probably never will. They've been using this alignment with Jupiter to relentlessly, viciously, utmost maliciously deteriorate at my faith, fortune, generosity, and my ability and desire to grow and expand, especially to get themselves more clout, money, and travel opportunities.